Schupfnudeln. Today I'm going to show you exactly how to make authentic German Schupfnudeln. And if you've never heard that word before, I love saying it actually, if you can't tell. They are these kind of potato noodles. They're a little bit like gnocchi and they're made from potatoes and they are so delicious. There's just a few things to know to really get them authentically done. The first thing we need to do is boil the potatoes. And I like to always start them in cold water. These are russet potatoes. You do need potatoes that are very starchy, not the waxy kind. We'll bring them to a boil, and what I love is this German product called Kochblume. It has these little silicone flaps right here, and if you put them on, your potatoes are never going to boil over, but I'm going to bring them to a boil, and then I will turn the heat so that it's just simmering. I do have a whole video about how to cook potatoes right for depending on which recipe you need them for. I'll be linking that in the description box for you below. But we're going to set these, and then once they come to a boil, I'm going to turn them to simmer, and then I'll meet you back here. So after about 20 minutes or so, I'm going to check my potatoes, and they are done. So let's drain them. Of course, you can boil your potatoes peeled. I always like to boil them unpeeled and then peel them later. That has a bit of the disadvantage that you need to peel a hot potato, but I have this potato pick here. That is this really nifty tool that doesn't destroy your potato just quite like a fork. And I like to do this while they're hot. So yes, I'm going to deal with this. And let's just quickly peel these potatoes here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I like to mash them while they're still hot. It's a little bit easier and you get a better consistency than if you're waiting until they're cold. And that's why I'm doing this. So just for simplicity reason, I'm going to put them back in the pot that I boiled them in. And that's going to be just perfect. You can also do that in a bowl. Doesn't matter. So let's just quickly do this here. I also find I have a little bit less waste when I peel them once they're boiled than when I peel them beforehand, because you can just take the peel off without much of the potato versus losing a little bit of the potato when you're peeling them while they're raw. And now comes the fun part, mashing them or pressing them. You can absolutely use a potato press. This can also be used for German Spätzle. I have this, but I prefer my old-fashioned potato masher, ricer, whatever you want to call it. And again, the key here is to do this while they're still hot because they'll be a lot softer. So let's just do this really quick. And again, if you're using something like this, I feel like there's a lot that gets stuck in there, and then you may not end up with all the potato that you've boiled. This looks really good to me. And again, this is for a homemade product. It will still be delicious. Now, I'm going to let this cool down because if we're going to add the other ingredients, namely the flour, now while this is so hot, the potatoes are going to absorb a lot of flour. And then it makes the product less potatoey and more floury, starchy, and we don't want that. We want the really nice potato taste and texture. So I'm going to let these cool down, and then I'm going to actually prepare the side dish for it. I have already fried up some bacon here, and these bits are looking just perfect. So I'm going to add my diced onion to it. And by the way, this is my most popular recipe on my blog. It's been shared thousands of times. Even if you're, or especially if you're not a big fan of sauerkraut, this is really, really good. And it's the perfect accompaniment for your Schupfnudeln or Fingernudeln. So we'll let these onions saute just a little bit. The way I'm making this sauerkraut, it's more like a braised sauerkraut is really how you get it in most restaurants in Germany. And it's not sour at all. It's actually really mild, but full of flavor. So good. I just want these a little bit more translucent before I add the sauerkraut. And here I have a jar that I found at my local, grocery outlet. This is from Poland, but it's wine sauerkraut, so sauerkraut with wine. Pretty much any sauerkraut will be good for this. You kind of want to, American sauerkraut tends to be very salty, but you can also do that. If you have one that has a lot of juice in it, I recommend draining it before adding it to your onion bacon mixture. I will put the sauerkraut in there. And they really packed this jar. I tried to drain it, there was no juice in it. I'm also a big fan of making my own sauerkraut. And if you have a lot of sauerkraut, you can absolutely use that for this dish. However, raw sauerkraut is full of probiotics, and once you cook it, those will be lost. And I find like if we're braising it for a long time, cooking it, then why use something that's a really healthy, valuable raw product and cooking it? And that's why I don't necessarily mind buying something from a jar. This skillet is almost a little small for the job. I knew that, but I need my other skillet for my Schupfnudeln. In my original recipe, I am using an apple that I diced, but you can also use applesauce, and I have that in the refrigerator, so why not use it? I am all for being flexible and not being a super stickler for, oh, it has to be an apple, but you know, it can be applesauce. This is really good applesauce. That gives it a bit of a mild flavor, a little bit of a fruitiness, just the right fruitiness and sweetness to cut a little bit through the sourness. Let's see if we can manage to get that out of there. Next, I have some of my own bone broth. I love it. It's super solid. It comes out as a whole block. It's gelled, and this is all the good stuff from the bones that you want to add and extract from the bones. It's the connective tissue that makes it look like this. I always add a little bit of caraway. Caraway really helps with the digestion of this. Even if you're not a big fan, I still recommend it because you won't really taste it so much because we're going to be braising this for a bit. You can see my German Kümmel. And then we have Wacholder, which is juniper berries. I always like them. They're also really good for you. You can eat them raw. They're kind of sweet. They're really good. Now we need to see how we can mix this up. And in just a moment, when I feel like this has all been mixed up very nicely, I'm going to put a lid on it and let this simmer at a very low heat until the sauerkraut is really soft. I mean, yes, it has been pasteurized, but it's also a little bit on the crisp side, and you want all the flavors to really go together and not a one flavor to stick out. Now let's see, I do have a lid that works perfectly. And I'm going to move this over here to this small simmer plate. And then we're going to make the Schupfnudeln because I think they're cool enough now at this point. So the sauerkraut is still doing its thing. This has cooled down, so we can now add the flour to it. I always like to start with a little bit less. I can always add a little bit more, but you know, it's a little hard to take something off when you add too much. This is potato starch. You can also use cornstarch. About a tablespoon. Then we have a little less than a teaspoon of salt and nutmeg. I always love nutmeg. See, I have a little piece in here. I love this little grater. The nutmeg can live up here. I can grate it down here. And we have an egg. Okay, so now we'll mix it all up. At some point you can use your hands to mix it up, which might give you a better consistency and make it a little bit more uniform. But you want the mixture to be sticking together, but dry enough that it's not super sticky. So it's just a little bit of dilating right. To me, this is perfect. Let's flour our work surface a little bit. I know some people have this hand move and dusting the surface evenly. I don't know how to do that. So we'll give this another quick mix here. I'm going to shape it into a long roll. It's a little bit like gnocchi, but it's more like gnocchi noodles than these little gnocchi. Now I'm just going to cut them into small pieces, and you can go ahead and divide the dough in so many pieces to make them somewhat even, but I'm not so worried about that. And then you want to roll them into these shapes and kind of make the ends a little bit like smaller tips, just a little bit like this. Thicker middle, and then a little bit thinner on the ends. All right, I'm going to do that with all of them. This is the fun part. This is where they're different than gnocchi. You just press a little bit more here on the ends with your fingers. If they're not all the same size, don't worry about it. Okay, last one is always a little small, almost a little bit like a stepchild. Not to disparage any step relations. I had a stepdad who was an amazing person, so I never felt like a stepchild in that sense. Over here, I'm bringing a pot of water to a boil. You could just try a little pinch of your Schupfnudel dough and see if you like the saltiness. If you feel like it's a little bit bland, then I would absolutely add some salt to your cooking water. However, I personally find that these are salty enough, so I'm not going to add any. But that's kind of like, just pinch off a little bit and try it. I don't really want my water to be a roaring boil. I just want it close to boiling, just right before boiling. So when you have these little bubbles come up, that's usually a good indication. And what I want to do is just put one test Schupfnudel in there to see how it's doing. And it's starting to swim, which is a good sign. And I'm going to add the rest of them. I'll start with the bigger ones, because I know they'll need a little longer to cook. And last one. How long do you need to boil them? Well, until they start floating to the surface, and that's going to be a while here. I'm staying close to my pot because, like I said, I don't want a roaring boil. That's just going to cause them to disintegrate and fall apart, just like potato dumplings. But yeah, I want to stay close and keep an eye on these babies. First ones are already starting to come up a little bit, which is usually a really good sign. I'm going to have my slotted spoon and my plate ready for when they are ready so they can come out. But I can already tell from looking that they will still need a little bit. I also want to stay close because I can see that the temperature of the water has increased and I don't want this to be boiling. So that's why I just turned the heat down a little bit. And yeah, they're coming up. So that didn't take very long. Okay. Let's take them out. Yep, they're all coming up. And we lost a little piece, but oh well. Okay. Now, of course, you can eat your Schupfnudeln just like they are, just like this. Let's try a little piece. Really good, really good potato flavor, a little bit of bite. But I love taking them a step further, which is what I'm doing here. I have my big cast iron skillet that I couldn't use for my sauerkraut. Usually I use this big one for my sauerkraut, but I only have so many. And it's this, like, what, one day a year when you feel like you don't have enough, but for the rest of the year you have more than you need. So that's why my sauerkraut is in a skillet that is just on the small side for it. Ideally, I want to brown it just a little bit. Okay, so let's add them really quick because they're still hot. But because I have some water in here, I don't want to just scoop them in there, and they're hot. They're just about fitting in here. And yeah, now we're browning them. Let's check on the sauerkraut. That looks just perfect. You almost want it dry. You don't want to see a lot of the juice in there or any liquid. Let's see what's going on over here. They are starting to nicely brown. So how do you put this whole dish together? Well, all you do is spoon some sauerkraut on your plate, add the Schupfnudeln to it, and there is your meal. Schupfnudeln of sauerkraut, oh, so good. Of course, you can also serve them with something sweet or just in butter or with your favorite plum jam or something. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.